Welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving deep into a massive storm that is currently ripping through the Formula One paddock. This isn't just a small technical argument, this is a scandal so big that it could decide who wins the 2026 World Championship before a single car even hits the track. And at the very heart of all this drama is one team, Mercedes. As we all know, 2026 is supposed to be a fresh start for the sport. The biggest rule change in history is coming, and every fan has been promised closer racing and a more level playing field. But right now, the mood in the paddock is anything but fair. The other teams are absolutely furious. Ferrari, Honda, and even the newcomers, Audi, have already gone to the FIA to lodge a formal protest. And honestly, once you hear what's going on, you can see exactly why they are so angry. It appears that Mercedes, and possibly Red Bull as well, have found a massive loophole in the new engine rules. If this loophole is allowed to stand, it could give them an advantage that is almost impossible to beat. We are talking about a gain of nearly half a second per lap. In the world of Formula One, half a second isn't just a lead, it is an absolute eternity. It's the difference between being a hero on the podium and being stuck in the middle of the pack. So let's break this down as simply as possible. What exactly have they found? The whole controversy is about something called the compression ratio. Now, don't let the technical name put you off. It's actually quite easy to understand if you think about it. Think of your engine like a giant syringe or a bike pump. The compression ratio is simply how much the engine squeezes the mix of air and fuel before it explodes to create power. In a normal car engine, more squeeze usually means more power and better fuel efficiency. Because everyone wants to win, the FIA knew that teams would try to squeeze their engines as much as humanly possible. To stop one team from spending billions to get a tiny advantage, the FIA set a very strict limit for the 2026 season. They told every manufacturer, you can only squeeze the engine to a ratio of 16:1. This was supposed to keep things cheap, fair, and make it easier for new teams like Audi and Ford to join the sport without getting embarrassed. But this is where the engineers at Mercedes got incredibly clever. They didn't break the rules, they just read the rulebook better than anyone else. You see, the FIA rules state that they measure this squeeze ratio when the engine is cold, basically when it's sitting at room temperature in the garage before the race. But the geniuses at Mercedes realized that a Formula One engine doesn't stay cold for long. When these cars are racing, the engines become incredibly hot. We are talking hundreds of degrees.
Through some unbelievable engineering, Mercedes has reportedly designed internal engine parts made of special materials that expand when they get hot. This is a basic scientific trick called thermal expansion. Imagine a metal ring that gets slightly bigger if you hold a lighter under it. Because these parts expand during the race, they effectively shrink the space inside the engine cylinder. So here is the trick. While the engine is sitting cold in the garage, it looks perfectly legal at the 16:1 limit. The FIA inspectors check it and it passes. But as soon as the driver hits the track and the engine gets up to racing temperature, those parts grow and the compression ratio jumps up to 18:1. Mercedes is essentially getting way more power out of the same amount of fuel than anyone else, all while staying within the letter of the law. They found a way to cheat the system without actually breaking a single written rule. The other teams feel completely blindsided. Ferrari and Renault have spent hundreds of millions of pounds building their engines to follow that strict 16:1 limit. Now they've realized that while they were playing by the spirit of the rules, Mercedes found a backdoor. It is estimated that this little trick adds about 15 extra horsepower. On a long straight at a track like Monza or Spa, that is worth about 0.4 seconds every single lap. Over a full race distance, that is a massive gap that no driver, not even Lewis Hamilton or Max Verstappen, could ever hope to close through just skill alone. And then we have the situation with Red Bull. Rumour has it that Red Bull's engine department is also trying to use this same trick, but they are struggling to make it work as well as Mercedes has. This puts Red Bull in a very awkward and slightly funny position. They want to keep the loophole open so they can eventually use it, but they also want to protest against Mercedes so they don't get left behind in 2026. It's a classic case of F1 politics at its most cutthroat. Right now, the people in charge at the FIA are stuck between a rock and a hard place. If they let Mercedes keep this engine design, the 2026 season might be a total disaster for the fans. We could see one team dominating every single race, just like Mercedes did back in 2014. But if the FIA bans it now, it might be too late. Mercedes has already spent years and millions of pounds designing their engine around this trick. Forcing them to change it now would be like telling a builder to move the foundation of a house after the roof is already on.
One solution that people are whispering about is a bit of a compromise. The FIA might let the loophole stand for just 1 year, 2026, and then ban it completely for 2027. But even that wouldn't make the other teams happy. Why should they have to lose an entire year of racing just because Mercedes found a clever way to exploit the temperature of an engine part? The future of Formula One truly hangs in the balance here. If the FIA doesn't act quickly and firmly, the new era of close racing we were all promised might be over before it even starts. The integrity of the sport is on the line. At the end of the day, every fan wants to see a championship that is decided by brave driving and smart strategy, not by who found a better way to make a piece of metal grow when it gets hot. We want to hear from you on this one. Is Mercedes being brilliant and deserves the win? Or is this legal cheating that needs to be stopped? Ban this trick immediately to save the sport? Or is finding gaps in the rules just part of the game? Let us know what you think in the comments below. We love a good debate, and we read every single comment you post. If you want to stay updated on this story as it develops and get all the latest F1 news, technical breakdowns, and paddock drama, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow, and you won't miss a second of the action as we head toward the 2020. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you're the first to know when we drop our next deep dive into the world of Formula One. Thanks for watching, keep your eyes on the track, and we'll see you at the next turn.